Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be drawing a heart balloon in Procreate. So for this tutorial, you'll just need a A4 canvas. And you just want to make sure that you have your red selected. And what we're going to actually start by doing is using the selection tool to draw out our heart. So the way that this tool works is you can start your drawing, and as you draw it, you can actually let go as long as you start from where you picked up your pen originally, and you close the loop and close by touching the dot that you created on. Then it will actually close it and automatically fill it in with whatever color you have selected already. But I just want to mention as well that I do have all of the brushes I'm using for this tutorial, and as well as my color palette in the description below as well. But after clicking that dot, it will automatically fill for us. Makes it a little bit easier. So the next thing that I want to do is just center the heart as well, because I kind of made it a little bit higher than I had wanted. I'm just going to go to my brushes now, and I'm just going to go using my fine tipped pen, and essentially I just want to straighten out some of these edges so they don't look as wonky, because it's fine for them to look a little bit off, but you don't want them to be overly all over the place. You want it to have a little bit more straightness to it and not too wonky. So what I would do next is I pick a darker red because we want to start creating some shadows, but I do this with the selection tool as well. So just like how we created the heart itself, we're going to start creating some shadows with the selection tool. So it takes me a couple tries here just for me to figure out exactly what it is that I'm wanting to build on here, but I know that I want a shadow to appear on the side of the balloon like this. And so feel free to try to follow along. This does not need to be exactly the same as mine, but just try to create a similar or just general shape like this. So as long as you have that little plus button at the bottom of your selection tool, if you look at the very bottom left corner of the screen, it's got that little plus. So as long as you have that and also color fill selected, as long as you outline something and then press that little dot that appears when you first start creating a line, it will, whenever you close that loop, it will actually just color fill for you after pressing that dot. I'm just going in and creating different shadows here. So next, after we have our shadows at the top there, I just want you to take your blending brush, which is located in my blending brush pack, and you can also find that in the description below as well. But essentially, we want to take that same red and really start building out some shadows in the middle of the balloon as well. Now, what I like to do when I am blending, I use the smudger brush, and essentially what you want to do is I wanted to use the same brush that I used to draw my outline with to start blending as well. So all you need to do is hold down that smudger brush just to grab the same pen that I was using for the main brush. I go in between using brush and also the smudger brush. I start filling in some of these areas, and then I'll go in and I will smudge some of them out as well. Okay, so next what we want to do is start creating that line effect that the balloons have. And I just take my fine line brush. I have a pretty small size of the brush there. Playing around with the different sizes, just pulling it in some different directions, but essentially make sure you have that brush. It's the Inktober. It's in the blending brush pack as well. Make sure you're blending with that brush, not drawing with it. And we're just going to start pulling in that lighter color into that darker color to create those like line looks that the blue would have, those like bubbles or those wrinkles that it would have. So here, essentially, we're just going back and forth and pulling some of these colors in just to make it look like the heart has these indents, right, for the balloon. So we're pulling that slightly lighter color that we left on the outside, and I'm even just taking this in color, dropping it, and I am now blending or adding a little bit more to the outer rim just so that it will make it a little bit easier when I want to pull it with my fine tipped pen into the dark parts of the balloon. So just like you see here, and now I'm going back into my blending. I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. I just don't want there to be too many hard lines essentially, but hopefully you guys get the idea. I'm really just going back and forth and pulling in some lines and then going over and drawing again. So really it's just me kind of being a bit fidgety and a bit more precise with some of these angles. But right now I'm wanting to make like a series of kind of the same line going down the side of the balloon, because the side of the balloon is going to have a little bit of detail we'll be adding in. I'm going to add a little bit more of a lighter color in just a moment here, just so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. But essentially what we'll want to do next is take a lighter color. So we can go with something that's almost white, but not quite, just because this is going to be like a little bit of a reflection portion. So we can take our blending brush and we can just go in, and we're just going to make a thin kind of line on the side. We don't want to go over those nice indents we just made. We kind of want to make them like in between, like little pockets, and then we'll go in and kind of blend them just a little bit. But essentially this is what you want to do, and just add this small little layer of detail. So again, I'm just trying to find some areas to add a little bit more detail as well. So I'm just taking my pen again and I'm going over some specific areas to have that darker red be visible. And so now we're finding some of those like darker areas and we're taking our pen or our smudger, whatever works best, with that fine tipped pen to pull some of that color up to kind of create those indents. So at the beginning there, we're pulling up, and now we're kind of pulling that other color down into the second half over there on the left-hand side. And I find it easier just to honestly use my finger and hold the color down just to grab it, and then to kind of go in and do details from there, because sometimes it can be annoying just going back to the color all the time. But so in this same balloon pack, you're just going to take your soft brush and you're just going to go over the other side of the balloon as well. I want you to take with a lighter color. I don't want it to be fully white because we don't want to almost look like we're erasing a huge part of the balloon. You want to still be able to see some of it. So go into the other side as well, and we're going to start kind of building in a little bit more white. With your fine tipped pen as well, make sure your brush is quite small. And we're going to create some like squiggly little lines on top of where we were just kind of pulling in some of those colors earlier. So essentially want it to look something like this. Again, this does not have to be perfect, but this is going to be more so our light reflection, what we're doing right now. Now I want you to take the brush in your heart balloon pack called Texture, and we're going to leave the white color and we're going to start building out our biggest piece of reflection on the top right part of the balloon. Great, so now we're going to be taking our darker red color again. We're going to go and use our detailed B brush that we've been using as our fine line tip brush to draw almost like the inseam of the balloon, where you'll see some bumps kind of at the top there, and we'll do the same thing on the right hand side of the balloon as well. But just try to draw like a few little bumps, just kind of representing that inseam, and make sure that this layer is no longer alpha locked to be able to do that. So I'm just adding in a little bit more light reflection to some of these areas just so that it looks a little bit more detailed. But we are just nearing the end of the video today. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did like this tutorial, please feel free to
like, and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. If you guys have any questions or any comments or concerns or anything like that, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to help. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys will see me here next week. Don't forget to download the brush packs in the description below as well. Thanks so much. Bye.